Fridays are awesome. It's Gould you could join us for this Halloween edition of CNN Student News. I'm Carl Azuz at the CNN Center. 4 days away from the U.S. midterm elections, and candidates are trying to scare up some votes. We're talking all 435 members of the House of Representatives, 36 senators, plus some governors, state and local officials. They're out in force, making their last weekend push for support. And something unique this time around, it's not just commercials and signs, it's signs of the times. Vine hadn't even been introduced by the last national election. Some candidates are using it. Selfies were less popular. Some candidates are taking them. And through Facebook and Twitter, they're doing everything they can, especially to reach younger voters who don't typically turn out for the midterms. If Reed Wiseman and Barry Wilmore want to vote, they're going to need absentee ballots. They're two of the 6 people aboard the International Space Station right now. A Russian cargo spaceship arrived there the other morning, and NASA officials say the ISS has enough supplies to last it until spring at least. That's a good thing, especially after an American rocket carrying supplies crashed on liftoff earlier this week. Ever wonder what an astronaut needs day to day?
The International Space Station orbits the Earth every 90 minutes, traveling about 17,500 miles per hour. It's an understatement to say the astronauts and cosmonauts on board enjoy a spectacular view. But daily life in lower Earth's orbit is hard work, and at times complicated. Even getting clean is a challenge. No shower here. Instead, they use towels, wipes, and a rinseless shampoo.
And I take my no-rinse shampoo and rub it in. Again, kind of working it out to the ends.
On board this $100 billion research laboratory, there are never more than 6 crew members at a time. They stay for about 6 months, which can feel like an eternity living on pre-packaged food.
We use a lot of the same items the military uses, the meals ready to eat, the MREs.
Every so often, supply ships, like the one that exploded this week, bring fresh fruit and vegetables.
Here around our dinner table, this is a table for 6. We don't have plates. Of course, we don't need plates in space because, again, everything would just float away.
There are no refrigerators in space, and salt and pepper only in liquid form. Otherwise, the particles would be airborne, clogging air vents or getting in an astronaut's eye. Peanut butter on a specially packaged tortilla is a space station staple.
A weightless tortilla. Okay, we got 1 tortilla. Whoa, got away.
Most of the day is spent working on science experiments that only a microgravity environment can provide. There are also medical experiments, which can judge how well their bodies adjust to life in space for long periods of time. Of course, sometimes there are spacewalks. Otherwise, it's more mundane stuff, like what you might do at home back on Earth.
If you got to change out some filters or you got to, light bulbs burned out, you got to go take time to go change the light bulbs out.
And while you may be weightless in space, exercise is a must, using equipment you won't find on Earth, like this treadmill.
We attach, by these rings, the harness to a system of hooks and bungee cord.
If you're wondering about a bathroom break during the day, thanks to microgravity, using this tiny toilet isn't easy.
And of course, you do have your privacy. There's a little door.
Sleeping is easier, as long as the astronauts remember to tie down their sleeping bags. When the mission is complete, a Soyuz spacecraft brings them back to Earth. The return trip takes just 3.5 hours.
We know a lot of folks on the West Coast are celebrating a giant victory right now, so we'll start in San Francisco today. The Rams of Francisco Middle School are among those watching from California. But we haven't forgotten the royal season of you Kansas City fans, including those at Milan High School, the Wildcats of Milan, Missouri. And jumping across the Atlantic, hello to all of our viewers at Le Lycée de l'Île de Nantes. Thank you for watching in Nantes, France. Okay, that was creepy. Here are some interesting and useful facts about Halloween. 1. The National Retail Federation says Americans will spend a total of $7.4 billion on Halloween stuff this year. That's more than $23 for everyone in America. 2. A record number of people are expected to participate. Why? Because it's Friday. Awesome. It's not a school night. 3. The most popular costumes for kids this year, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are back, and characters from the movie Frozen will join them. If that bugs you, you gotta let it go. 4, Halloween can be a dangerous holiday. Pedestrians and bicyclists are more likely to be hit by cars this time of year. So 5, if you go out or take your little brother or sister, stick to sidewalks when you can. Don't let a mask block your vision. Go with friends. And look for candy that's factory wrapped. Avoid stuff that's homemade by people you don't know. 2 Halloween traditions include jack-o'-lanterns and ghost stories. The first probably came from the British Isles, but instead of a pumpkin, it's likely people carved a large turnip to light. As for ghost stories, well, the more historic a place is, the more likely it is to have them. And 2 very historic places in the U.S. include the White House and Capitol building.
During election season, the focus is the nation's future. But some of the most told stories in Washington come from the past, or maybe the present, depending upon how one looks at it. Politicians who can't seem to let go of their seats, or maybe it's the town that can't let go of them. The halls of government and the president's home have their share of ghost stories. The more prominent the president, the more prominent in ghost lore, like Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, he's the rock star of all ghosts at the White House, no question about it. First Lady Grace Coolidge thought she saw him in the Yellow Oval Room looking out over the Potomac contemplatively in the 1920s.
First ladies didn't just tell stories, some have their own stories.
Abigail Adams, who famously hung the president's laundry in the East Room because it was unfinished when the Adams moved into the house. And supposedly a number of witnesses have said that they've smelled the scent of lavender.
One of the most popular anecdotes on Capitol Hill also surrounds a former president. John Quincy Adams served 17 years in the House after being commander-in-chief, but still left unfinished business.
He had a stroke on the House floor and was carried off into the Speaker's office and died there.
He's perhaps having late-night chats with a lesser-known name who may still well be preoccupied.
There's a famous Senator, Boyce Penrose, who was the last one to try to read every bill. And he was a bachelor and would spend evenings in the Capitol reading, and he had a rocking chair, and so people said later that they could hear that rocking chair still going on.
Most of the stories are about 19th century figures, likely relayed before technology turned the news cycle nonstop. All these years later, still part of the town's history.
Okay, the challenge at Bryan College in Dayton, Tennessee. Hit 4 shots, a layup, a free throw, a three-pointer, and a shot from half court. The time limit, 30 seconds. The prize, $10,000. The chance that a soccer player with a broken finger who's never played competitive basketball would make it? Come on. Incredible! Now maybe the story isn't relevant to October 31st, but it's definitely not a hollow win. His skills are scary awesome. His shots simply spooktacular. With only the ghost of a chance, he caught nothing but net in a web of excitement. You knew you weren't going to get through this without a little punkin. CNN Student News returns Monday with our clock set back 1 hour. Don't forget to fall back Saturday night and have a happy and safe Halloween.